Hey there, welcome back to Crash Command Games. We're on week 2 of ProQuest. I wanted to kind of keep semi-regular updates as long as I'm on the tournament trail. And my tournament trail is going to continue because, spoiler alert, I did not do very hot today. I don't know what it is, but if I don't travel to my ProQuest, I'm not awake, I'm not alert, I'm not locked in. I don't know what the hell my problem is, but I just can't do it. So we're going to go over today. It's going to be an unpacking the week. We're going to be doing a box opening while also going over the local ProQuest I had. Again, I brought Jarl. Dio continued to be a problem for me, but the first Dio that I face, I should have beat. And that's my own problem. All that and more this time on Crash Command Games Unpacking the Week. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. This time I got a Welcome to Wraith Unlimited box. I was kind of wanting to save it for a draft, but my local community doesn't like to draft as much as I do. And I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to open it while I do the Jarl report for week 2. Let's just go over the meta real quick. What did my field look like? We had much bigger turnout this time, 33 players. Everybody decided to come out in force. I don't have my knife. I don't know where it is, but a pick worked fine. Tons of Aurora. As I said in my last video, I'm sure we're just going to see non-stop Aurora. Only 3 Florians, I believe. 3 Florians. I think it was like a quarter Auroras. 2 -IOs, to my understanding. After that, we have 2 Jarls, me and one other player who likes Elemental Guardian, one of my favorite players. We bounce off each other pretty well. We play very similarly. They were locked in. I was not. They made it to top 8. I didn't. Why is that? Round 1. The thing that I needed against the Dio in the top 8 in my previous week happened this week. I got full control of the game. Everything was going very swimmingly. Even late game, I hit a cranial crush with a pummel. Just a good old fashioned big cranial crush. And I was like, that should be sufficient to seal the game. And now we're going to get to why I lost my first game. Very close. I think I was at 7 life. I was at 7 life to their 2. And I hit them with a cranial crush the previous turn, and they began their turn. Very, very underwhelming turn, to be honest. It really would not have been that big of a deal. Except they drew off of their cerebellum processor. They did not cheat. Okay? I want this noted because later after the tournament, we both realized what happened. They did not cheat, but they drew the max V after 3 boosts, choosing to boost a 3rd time, even though their deck was getting very low. They maybe had like 12 cards left. Choosing to boost and then saw the max V on top because of -IO's ability, drew it, finished the game, right? They did not cheat. Ooh, nice. Already red sink below. Nobody hates to see that. Let's see if we can get a little bit of focus. There we go. I failed to enforce the cranial crush's on-hit effect. That was my bad. And you just have to chalk that up to that because later we went over it and realized what happened. And I went, dude, that's my bad. I didn't understand what that card did, really. I haven't seen a whole lot. And he is not a new player, good player, smart player, just not experienced. And I didn't enforce the cranial crush. That is both of us. He told me outside after the tournament, after I had been knocked out of contention and we were just outside hanging out, and he informed me then when he had made top cut. That's how that went. The second he said cranial crush, I looked up and just screamed. I was like, no, there's no way I forgot to enforce cranial crush because he drew off the processor to get that max V. So this is just a reminder to everybody out there. Damn, 2 red sink belows. Let's keep going. I know it's not like the best value, but I'm happy to see it. Just enforce your on hits, enforce your abilities. That was on me. And I wanted to bring that up because in that match, I thought I just got super unlucky. And if you know anything about me over the course of these videos, you know, man, I really don't like variance. And the fact that I thought I just got out varied right there. My opponent played very well. They got me very low. Obviously, they set up the turn. But I was so much happier and in such a better mood after the tournament because I realized, oh, I'm just a bad player. I just didn't enforce something I should have. And I'm so much better off with that. That makes me so much happier. then just I got unlucky, because that means it's something I can improve on, and it's something that I can now pass on to you. Enforce your on hits. Okay. I don't like leaving little reminders out, like the card, right? Technically, I think that's totally fine, illegal to do, but I like to keep the board state very clear. And that's my bad. Maybe I do need to start leaving out the on hit effects and show more of what's happening there. So that's a lesson for all of you new Guardian players. Make sure to remember all of your crush effects, all of your... I enforced the pummel. It's just... I didn't get to win that game. And because of that, I wasn't tilted yet, but I was in not a great mood because I had just lost to another Dio, even though I think it's a favored matchup. And it totally was, up until I chose to lose the game. So always be on top of that. You did hear the word pummel. If you watched the last ProQuest report, you know that I did not have pummel in that version of the deck. This version was a little more aggressive. I did take out Rampart of the Ram's Head because I didn't see a use for it. Not even in this tournament did I think I wanted to use it. I took out Rampart of the Ram's Head. I took out one Oasis Respite at first to put in the 2 pummels. Okay. They did help quite a bit. They enforced on hits. They got across big damage. They would turn like just a terrible little CNC or an Oakenold into a big hit if I couldn't fuse it, right? And that does happen. Oh, Tome of Findle, no way. Oh wait, that goes over here. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the pummel, I feel like the pummels were a good addition. I took out some of my defensive capability, and I feel like that costed me, right? Taking out those Oasis Respites. And I do say I took them out completely because I did. I figured, correctly so, that if I were to come across a Kano, I would just be beating the living hell out of them. And I did, as we'll get over later on in the report. But for the second round... Oh, Aurora. This match went exactly as it should have, and totally predictable. I just got big on hits, big Oakenolds, Spinal Crushes. They got fairly unfortunate hands when they went to Arsenal, the big combo pieces to get through my defense. I just Command and Conquered it with Pummel. It just was not a good time for them. And I don't think I've seen their deck draw. This is someone I play against. Not frequently, but I play against them enough to know that their deck doesn't draw this bad normally. And it's just unlucky. It's just unlucky. But that's going to happen. The turns where they were going to be able to do something, I would draw up Channel Lightning or Channel Lake Frigid, and it just turned into a mess. So, round 2, not a lot to report. It was against Aurora. I hit big on hits. Blood Rush Bellows. I hit big on hits. Did what Guardians do to aggro decks, and that was the end of that. Round 3 was another Aurora. My opponent saw the life totals on my app and got fairly discouraged at first, but this player is always positive and a blast to play against. They're always just there for a good time, and a good player. So, second Aurora, got all 3 Arc Lightnings on me, got a combo off. I just didn't have the defense to keep up with it. I'm not going to say they got lucky. I'm going to say they played well, and also chose to shuffle their deck because they had pitched a Poison the Well earlier in the game. Chose to shuffle their deck to try to have a better chance at it. Lo and behold, we get to that point in the game where I'm at CYB for 7, and that closes the game for them. Poison the Well, the one of. That was just a clean game. Very nice. I may have played a little too aggressively. You have to remember against Aurora, they have options. So even if I do land that Spinal Crush, which I did. That is such horse shit that I'm sorry, I'm happy. I am so happy. And it's a Belgian print, I believe. I am so happy right now. That is so fantastic to see. I don't know what it is about Welcome to Wraith that this is what draws me to it, because I know that it's just got such fun, cool opening experiences. I'm sorry to interrupt the report, but that is a thing of beauty. It's a little off-center, but its corners are fantastic. Let's get a look at this guy. See if I can get a good focus shot. There it is. Thank you. Welcome to Wraith for making my day a little better after a shitty Proquest. I don't think there's a single time I'll open up a Fabled from the original sets and be bummed out. Pendleton, thank you for selling me this box. I'm very happy I didn't leave it. There was a real shot I was going to leave it because it was a little pricier than I'd like. But when I go to game stores, no matter where I'm at, I try to buy product just to support them. And hey, thank you so much for that. All right, back to where we were with... Shit, I lost my train of thought totally. That really derailed me. Where were we? Where the hell was I? Oh yeah. Aurora having amazing offensive capability, even through a Spinal Crush. Electrostatic Discharge, +2 to the E-Strike, and I'm taking 10. There we go. And I had only given 6 damage through, right? With the Spinal Crush, and then they return 10. They take tempo again. Ooh, this one's really sealed. Even through the Spinal Crush. So you can't do what I did, and this is why I'm doing these tournament reports for any new Jarl players or anybody in the ProQuest. I want to give you the meta, I want to give you the breakdown, I want you to understand what I went through. And because I had chosen to take a lot of damage on the previous turn to deliver the Spinal Crush, I ended up losing the turn cycle, the trade, the give and take of Flesh and Blood in that moment. I took too much damage, returned to Spinal Crush, only gave 6. I was expecting to take tempo at that point in time, but they had returned 10. And I think I was at like 17 life or something like that. Maybe 21, something like that. And I again chose to take more damage because I hadn't, God, what was it? It was just something with a pummel. It was just a big attack coming back with a pummel. And I was like, maybe I can completely take tempo. And then again, I just took the 10. When I could have just blocked, arsenaled the big attack that I wanted to use for later, saved life. And instead I took too much damage, got too greedy, and I forgot who the beatdown was, right? Huge part of this game is realizing who the beatdown is. Very old article that I'm referencing. It was for Magic the Gathering. It was just, remembering what your role is in the game. And my role of the game, while yes, I do have an aggressive Jarl deck. Okay. I do have an aggressive Jarl deck. It's just not my place to strictly put the beat down on. It is my place to grind the opponent down with on hits and my place to control the pace of the game. I chose not to control the pace of the game. Why did I do that? I have no goddamn idea why I thought that was the plan. But that's what I chose to do. And because of that, I lost. Did I only make that decision because I was starting to get annoyed and desperate for the win? Because of my first game? Possibly. I wasn't locked in. Try to clear the last game out of your head. Try to get rid of whatever negative feelings you have before each game, anytime you go to a competitive event. Otherwise, you forget what you're doing and you lose that round. God, a full playset of Stink Blows. That never happens. This is like the best box I've opened in a while. Sand Sketch. If I see like a foil E-Strike, I don't have any foil. The crazy part is if you're local, I have a pretty massive collection. I have multiple play sets of each set. I don't have a foil E-Strike. I've only ever had the one, and I sold it when it spiked really hard, and that was in the early days, Monarch era, when foil E-Strike went from like 40 to like 150. I was like, I gotta get rid of this. That was one of the only times in this game I had paper hands. Every other time I hold on to it. I hold on to everything. But yeah, just remember what your role is in each game that you play. Third game comes along. It's, that was the third game. Fourth game, Kano. This was exactly how I expected my Kano match to go, and I feel pretty happy that I made the changes that I did. I don't need the Oasis Respites. I didn't need any of that. I just brought in Heart of Ice and my 2 Null Rune, and I leave my gloves alone because sometimes I like to Nourishing Emptiness, and I have some sinks and the 4 blocks to cover the Nourishing Emptiness. I know it's not a huge deal, but it can happen, and I don't want that to happen to me. Staunch Valor. So how this game goes is first turn, I just dominate and attack, get through, push damage. But every single turn, it was activate Heart of Ice, drop a massive dominated attack. And for the first few turns, they probably think that's okay. And it is. But when it's every single turn, there was a turn where I pitched a Command and Conquer to Heart of Ice, and then I pitched Crumble to Eternity to my gloves, and then I pitched another blue card to Mangle for 10. They didn't have any -1 armor counters. That's not the point. The point is I'm putting across 10 damage to a wizard at 30 life, well, less than 30 life at that point. But I'm putting across a 10 dominated attack. In that matchup, you are the beatdown. Yeah, Kano can combo and do crazy stuff, but you just have to know which role you're playing in that game. And I know in that game, if I let him take all the time he wants in the world, he'll pitch stack me and he'll annihilate me. And because I don't have the Oasis Respites, I damn well know that I'm the beatdown. So all I did was I added 3 blues to the deck to give myself a little more pitch, and just went at it. Just absolutely went in there with the mindset of, I'm going to cycle through my deck as fast as I can, specifically to find the biggest dominating attacks that I can and pummel him down to death. And that is what happened. I think the game ended 37 or 41 or something like that, was my life total, and they were at 0 by the end of the game. Very important to every turn start with Heart of Ice. Make them really think if they want to do anything or gamble. He chose not to gamble a lot of the time because he's a very reserved player. What is his channel? There it is. His channel is Hamman215. Very dedicated Kano player, very dedicated wizard main. Pretty famous throughout my area. He's not from my area, but he attends all the events and is a champ. It's just a bad time when literally you're not going to be able to block any of the damage. You think, oh, he'll be able to put some damage through, but then I just CYB, keep a fairly high life total, and we just moved on. It was bad. Round 5 is the round where we determine possible tiebreaker cuts. I have really bad tiebreakers. My opponent, great friend, on Slip Through the Cracks. I chose to bring in the Sledge this time. I got some questionable faces when I chose to bring in the Sledge against Slip Through the Cracks. And I know that he's the beatdown, but I know that a lot of the time I'm just going to be blocking 6, leaking 2 or 3 damage, and then I want to swing the Sledge for 6, or possibly present an Oakenold or something. The point is I was just trying to outvalue using my Count Your Blessings math, and for the most part it worked. I did another and a foil route. We were down to like 4 to 4 by the end of the game. I counted all the reactions, made my calculated guesses. But the one thing I didn't calculate was a 3rd Codex of Frailty, because I just forgot about it. And that's what he had in hand. Played the Codex of Frailty, came across to the Command and Conquer after I had full blocked his hand. Assuming I full blocked 2 attacks because I counted the reactions, and I'm like, well, at most he'll have 2 attacks, 1 to 2 attacks, and he'll be trying to pump it to 6 to come over and give me a Blood Rot or something. That was not obviously what happened. Cranial Crush and a Foil Snatch, sick. He ended up attacking, giving his attack go again, and then Codex of Frailty, bringing across a Command and Conquer for 6 after I had already full blocked, and that was lethal. So I don't know that I could have done anything about that, not without giving him ice. Like if I had a Pulse of Eisenloft to block one of the attacks to give him a Frostbite, that does change the whole turn, and maybe I win that game, because then he really is almost out of attacks. But he says he stole it, but I think he just played really well. Man, I'm not going to get an E-Strike or anything. I hope, God, please just get that. I can't. What am I being greedy for? What am I asking for here? I don't know. It wasn't my day. I wasn't locked in. I wasn't where I needed to be in the tournament. And I really wanted to impart how important it is for you to really enforce your on hits and slow down. Make sure you clear your head in between games. I was going outside to clear my head, kind of, but I just had that lingering feeling in the back of my head. Just, oh my God, like why am I losing to luck? And it just wasn't luck. I don't know. I feel like when I drive to events, I take it a bit more seriously, maybe because I'm expending more resources. That might be a thing. I don't know how to solve that problem. I'm seriously not going to get a single E-strike. I'm not allowed to get E-strikes. That's fine. Well, again, what am I bitching? Why am I being such a little bitch today? Last pack. That's the end of the report. Nothing too exciting. I didn't see top 8 because I left. Not out of anger, but I was just tired. I had shit to do. Saw a really great old friend again. Hope he comes back into the game. Looks to be in a very, very good spot. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We're just gonna save it. We're just gonna save it. Let's see what we get here. I am on to a 3rd ProQuest in the coming 1, 2, 3. I'm going on to a 3rd ProQuest. I'm gonna give it another I have to. I have this passport over here sitting here burning a hole in my desk. I don't know what the fuck I meant to say there, but it's just not in my nature to not hit tournaments if I have the possibility of going to a bigger tournament. Let's see what we got here. And foil flick flack. No E-strikes, anything like that, but we can't really complain. That box was hella worth it for $100. Guys, thanks for watching this. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment if you got anything good out of this. Let me know what kind of videos you're trying to look for. Get onto that Patreon. Just become a member. Get some of the data available to you. Get some of the resources. Get into my Discord. Hang out. Ask questions. Subscribe to the channel. Spread my videos. This one's zeroed.